Flirting is not something you're born with. It's actually a learned skill.
Dr. Stacy Friedman is a clinical sexologist and certified sex and intimacy coach who helps individuals and couples of all genders and orientations discover deeper connection, pleasure, and confidence inside and outside the bedroom. With over 26 years of experience in the medical field and more than 2 decades working in the sexuality field, she brings a rare mix of clinical expertise and specialized training in sexual health, intimacy coaching, communication, and relationship dynamics.
It does get lost after so many years, and people just don't know how to get that back. People think that talking dirty means you have to be raunchy and raw and just, if you laugh about it, that's okay to laugh. And that can help build that anticipation, and that might even get yourself horny. You don't know. Just wait till what I do to you later.
Buddy, welcome to the lounge. Welcome back to all of our longtime listeners. I'm so excited to talk to Dr. Stacy Friedman today and to bring her on the show because the topic we're talking about today comes up a lot in my community, which is dirty talk, how to flirt. Oftentimes, one partner is asking for this and the other partner is timid or shy, or maybe even both partners want this but don't know how to even begin. It is so common in our long-term relationships that even if this was there and natural in the beginning, we kind of start talking like best friends after a while. And then when it gets to that, trying to get back to that dirty talk can feel kind of a little awkward in many times. So I'm so excited to have this conversation with sexologist and expert Dr. Stacy today because we are going to give you tools. We're going to give you actionable steps. We're going to help get you over that awkward hump today. So thank you, Dr. Stacy, for being here with me and for exploring this topic today.
I am so excited, Dr. Diane, because this is a subject I get to teach a lot of people as well, because it's something that is so needed that, like you said, it does get lost after so many years and people just don't know how to get that back. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, and let's dive right in because I think one of the first things maybe to talk about is I think beginning this day, like I mentioned, awkward, but there's also oftentimes this feeling of embarrassment people have, right? Around like, oh, this feels embarrassing to say this. This feels embarrassing to do this. And so, where do people start with? And is there a way to start without feeling embarrassed or awkward? Or is it more just like accepting that that is part of it and motivating yourself through it? How do you guide people to just kind of break through this initial barrier?
Well, it's true because you know what, flirting is not something you're born with, okay? It's actually a learned skill, and it's rooted in attention and curiosity and being present. And it happens many times before you even get in the bedroom. And that flirting can help you get to the bedroom. And so for a lot of people, they just have no clue how to talk dirty, how to flirt, because people think that talking dirty means you have to be raunchy and raw and just, to that mindset of like, "Oh god, what did they say to me?" But, what I try to tell people is that practice makes perfect, just like any other skill. And so we talk about how communication, first of all, is so important in relationships anyway, that if you're not able to talk about sex and intimacy, and you're not able to talk about flirting or some things that have to do in the bedroom, you're gonna be lacking in your relationship, and so we just talk about how to practice, and then we get into all those details.
Okay, so then what is a common mistake? So we're talking about getting into all the details. Like let's talk about like common mistakes that people can avoid. Where do they do wrong in the beginning or throughout any of it?
Well, they think that, it's gonna come natural, and it doesn't, and one of the things that people say, "Well, all we do is we laugh," and it's like, "But that's okay. If you say something and you laugh, that's okay," because when you go ahead, if you've never looked at your partner and say, "Oh my god, you got me so hard," or "You got me so wet," or whatever it is, and it feels weird, if you laugh about it, that's okay to laugh, and I think that people feel like it has to be perfect, and that's, I think, a mistake that people, um, make, is that they refuse sometimes to even start because they're afraid to screw up.
I was teaching a tantra class this weekend and we were practicing doing certain acts and like doing them with sending love through through our mouth or through our hands. And so I was playing this dice game with people where I'd roll dice and be like, oh, blow here and
Right.
lick here and like do all that, right? And every time I rolled these dice, it was like lick, blow, suck, whatever it was, and the body part that kept coming up was ass. So it was like no matter what I would do, and so it was like this real serious thing, with people like being in this kind of like meditative type of state as we were doing this. And when we kept getting butt coming up, then all of a sudden everybody was just laughing. Right. And I think it's like one of those things we don't like think about is like, this is actually like bringing laughter in, whether we're talking about dirty talk or anything else in the bedroom is like, this isn't a bad thing. That's a sign that we're being lighthearted and taking it
Playful.
like playful. Right. So that's what I hear in some of what you're saying is like, oh, like, let this be playful. Let it like it doesn't have to be serious, even though it can feel so emotional, right?
Right, right. And I have a book, and one of the chapters of the book is I have a quote on the front of every chapter. And one of them says, if you're not laughing and having fun while having sex, you're doing it wrong. And basically, that's the whole premise of the whole thing is that is sex is not supposed to be so serious. And so when people have issues like performance anxiety, everything, it's all focused on what is my end result rather than the whole journey. And, for people that are just beginning, I like to be able to just tell them, talk with your partner, let them know you're nervous. That could be kind of like that first start that you were asking is how do you get started? And that's just by saying to your partner, I want to change this, or I want to do this, or I want to add to this. And I'm feeling a little awkward. Is it okay if I do this and get that, affirmation from your husband or your wife, or, say, well, what are some things you want to hear and ask
I love
questions?
That's really good advice because I think we do take a lot of that fear out just by like naming that and just by giving somebody a heads up. So it's like, oh, this isn't going to shock them. Like they know this is coming. We talked about it.
Right, right. And just then they'll know that you're coming because you'll be able to say the words.
Right.
I'm
Exactly.
coming.
I'm coming.
There
Right.
could be some dirty
Dirty talk.
talk.
Exactly. Exactly. And so much of like dirty talk and flirting is like what's happening outside the bedroom, but it's also like what we're doing inside the bedroom too.
Right, right.
So, I'm curious, like, do you have because I know this question comes up a lot in, like, social media posts that I've researched on this topic, which are, like, go-to lines. Like, do you ever have, like, a foundational, like, "Oh, here's a couple lines to try out," or do you recommend anything like that?
Well, when you are in the bedroom, I always recommend for people that are cool. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to say it. Say what you're feeling. Say what you're thinking. And then people like, well, I get confused or I'm kind of in the moment. I don't know. But when, let's say, your partner enters you, if you're in a heterosexual relationship and you're a woman and the male, because a lot of times it's the woman that sometimes struggles a little more with the dirty talk or the flirting. Um, when the man enters you, how does it feel? Oh God, it feels great. I said, does it feel like what is the sound you want to make? And they're like, ah. I said, so make the sound, because a lot of times they're silent or say, oh my God, that feels so good, or if you see that you're getting like, oh my God, I'm getting like warm and wet. Tell them you're getting warm and wet. Oh my God, you like that he's hard. Tell him, I love how hard you are. It's just instead of keeping the thought in your head, put it out there, and that's something you can do in the bedroom. So there's not, let's say, a set, word to use. But outside the bedroom, it's noticing something about your partner, and what happens is that a lot of times people will keep that notice in their head, like, "Oh, she looks so good. Look at her butt," or, "Wow, he smells really good," but they won't tell their partner. So it's important to just take that thought and tell your partner, but don't just say it in a way like, "Oh, you smell good." Go up to your partner and say, "You smell really good." You see the difference? It's just how you say it. So sometimes you could tell your partner, "Oh, those pants look really good on you. Your butt looks great." But that's not really a flirty, sensual type of saying. You could say, "God, your ass looks so good in there. What I want to do to it later," or something like that.
Yeah, I really appreciate you bringing up, like, the vocal tone because even as you're saying that, I'm, like, feeling my own body. I'm like, "That does not affect me." I'm like, "Alright!" Like,
Right.
I'm feeling physical changes in my body, as you say those things, and, I think it's a good point too. Like, another thing I wanna bring up here because I see this a lot in my own relationship, which is my partner's deaf, And so he's an amazing lip reader, right? But from a standpoint of like talking during sex, we've been together 5 years, and it's been a very interesting thing to navigate because unless we're facing each other where he's looking at my lips, which, is in a lot of positions, that's not the orientation. There is like he cannot hear me, right? And so it's very interesting to even like I found myself turning like more silent during sex until I realized what was happening and realized like, oh, right, like part of like flirting during sex, part of the dirty talk, part of the sounds is not just for my partner, it actually is for me.
Right.
And so
True.
I really started bringing that back, just realizing like, well, sometimes he catches it, sometimes he doesn't. But even if he doesn't, he can feel it because I'm turning myself on by doing these things. And he still gets the benefit by feeling into me, my body, and my changes and my excitement. So, and I just say that
Really.
because I think sometimes, like, why are we motivated to do these things? And sometimes we're motivated for that other person, but that motivation also can come, like, internally around, like, "Well, I wanna feel more. I wanna turn myself on."
Right.
You find
And
that?
that makes yeah, that makes a lot of sense because there's so many people that are just doing it for their partners. And I'm gonna call out women on this. So many more women than men are doing it because, oh, well, it's an obligation or they wanna do it. But if they take it internally and if you're gonna say to a partner, "Oh, do you wanna go have sex?" It's not gonna turn you on. That's not gonna turn myself on. But if I look at my partner and I get over him and I say, just wait till what I do to you later, or just see what I do to you later. And he's gonna be like, this face on him, and then I'm gonna be like, "Yeah, I just got him going." That's gonna turn me on because you're doing something for your partner. So it's important to, like you were saying, with your partner being deaf, even if he can't hear you, he could still see how you look at him. He could still, because flirting is not even necessarily just words. It's your
Yes.
eyes, it's your lips, it's your tongue, it's your, the head shift, the shoulders, everything.
Exactly, and it brings up another point, like, we flirt with our entire being. It's like words are a part oftentimes, but you can be across the room at a bar and see a stranger clearly flirting with you, and you have no idea, I mean, you haven't even had a conversation with them yet.
Right.
So, you mentioned like where to start, like with bed. Like, okay, well, if you're in bed, you're with your partner, starting to be like, well, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I like, or making the sound associated. How do you have any advice for then outside the bedroom? Like, okay, well, you're in the kitchen and you're somewhere around the house and you're in person, or hey, this is via text and those other types of scenarios, how to begin to flirt in those situations? I have to take a break from what we were just talking about because I'm so excited to introduce you to a couple of my favorite toys on the market. Because one of the things I really, really am passionate about when it comes to sexual health, pleasure, passion, is not only those things, because those are very important, but it's also helping you find ways to deeply heal. And this is why I love the company Mystery Vibe so much, because their products I've seen to do just that. So I'm going to tell you about a couple of these. I have a product for women and a product for men here. So this is the female product. This is called the Crescendo 2. You will have links in the show notes. You will also get discounts on this if you use the code LIBIDO20. You will get discounts on this product. And what's so cool about this product from a pleasure standpoint, and then we're going to talk about a health standpoint, but from a pleasure standpoint, look what I can do with this product. It is so bendable. So it has all of these hinges where you can bend it in all of these different ways. And what that's allowing you to do is be very specific around which part of the interior of the vagina, G-spot, etc., that you are going to access and stimulate. Now, what internal studies have shown on this particular product is that it increases arousal about 73% and lubrication up to 93%. So that's where I'm talking about, hey, we can get all of this uniqueness of pleasure. We can pinpoint those spots. We can wake up our vagina in ways that maybe other vibrators can't, because you can't get the level of maneuverability and flexibility that you can with this toy. And all of that, and then you can also see in many people an increase in arousal and lubrication for that deep healing component. Also, another product that Mystery Vibe has for women that also has been shown to improve arousal as well as lubrication is called the legato. I will also put a link in the show notes about that. It's a cock ring that vibrates the entire vulva. It's phenomenal. So also look for that. Again, the code you're looking for is libido20 for that discount. And now for all the gentlemen watching. So this is the Tenuto 2. So this toy is amazing because it has been researched to improve erections by double. So erections get better, performance gets better, and it can help with prostate health. So it's a super easy toy to use. It looks a little bit strange when you're looking at it, but all you're gonna do is you're gonna just do penile insertion right here. This back part will sit back on the perineum, and voila, there you go. So again, libido 20 for this. If you guys want better erections, if you want to be harder longer, if you want to please your partner longer, and women, if you want to have a better arousal, better lubrication, and wake up those parts of your vagina so that not only are you experiencing more pleasure, more passion, better orgasms in many cases, but you are also deeply healing yourself as well. So again, those will be in the show notes. I hope you take advantage of these discounts and the coupon codes there. Libido20 is your coupon code. I will see you all in a moment as we get back to our show.
Quick word from our sponsors before we continue with the episode.
Ladies, midlife isn't a crisis, it's a power move. On the Mature Allure podcast, we're flipping the script on aging, beauty, wellness, and everything in between. I'm your host, Sherry O, here to keep it real, fun, and fearless. Ready to embrace every chapter? Hit play on Mature Allure wherever you listen to podcasts.
Midlife your way, that's Mature Allure.
Yes, because a lot of people need that foreplay. Men and women need that foreplay. And there's a lot of men that might say, well, I never feel needed or wanted or desired because my partner doesn't do anything. And the partner's like, okay, well, I don't ever feel beautiful because my partner doesn't want to do anything because they might feel rejected. I mean, it's like there's always this back and forth, back and forth. And so I try to tell people, first of all, in order to have desire for later on, you need to make sure that you are building that foreplay, you're building that excitement, you're building that teasing, because it's also about teasing. And that can start with, I'll give you an example. My husband and I, we went downstairs. He went downstairs first. I came down 10 minutes later. We wake up, we brush our teeth, we come downstairs, have our little breakfast. I came downstairs and he looked at me just out of nowhere. I mean, I was literally just in my pajamas, everything. He just says, "You look so beautiful." And I looked at him like he was crazy. I'm like, "I just got out of bed. What are you talking about?" He goes, "You're just beautiful." And he walks over to me. He takes my glasses off and he just slowly takes his hands, put it behind my neck and just laid this juicy, wet kiss on me. And then just stopped and he goes, "What can I get you for breakfast?" And I just sat there. I'm like, you? You know, should we go upstairs?
You got time?
Right, right. But that was just a playfulness, a little tease, a little touch. And we did not do anything after because we had the day to do. We had work to do. But it gets you started. So those little moments of foreplay, the little moments of sending, like you said about text, send a little meme or just saying, you look fuckalicious today or something like that. There's a meme that he always sends me. Just little things like that through the day are going to help.
I love the memes or the GIFs idea. I think that's so accessible. So it's like so easy to get in your phone and be like playful, right? And just like, look in your gift directory and like, okay, sexy texts or, hot texts or tell my partner, like, just, think about something like that and see what comes up. And it's nice because then it will self-populate things that resonate with you, maybe pictures that you like, images that you like, and then you don't have to come up with that yourself. So I
Right.
really love that idea.
Send a picture of a woman eating a hot dog and saying, "This is what I'm going to do to you later." I mean,
Yeah.
it's something so simple that you don't have to write it if you feel awkward writing something. Let the picture do it for you.
And then I'm going to give another idea and then I have another question for you because I think another important thing is like that comes up is, well, how do we respond? But before I ask that question, I do like the idea. I want to bring up the concept of habit stacking Because one of the things that I find in life when we're trying to bring new things in, whether we're talking about sexy things or not, is stacking things on top of other things we're doing so it doesn't feel like a habit. And so, one fun idea is like when women and when men, when humans of all types are self pleasuring, one of the things you can do is start practicing. So, like, one of my favorite devices we talked about offline that I know you just got as well is the Mystery Vibe by Crescendo. This is the coolest female vibrator because it's like, look how I'm bending it. It really is. It really is. You can get all these different positions. And what that allows you to do is not only experience great pleasure because at every different joint, it's going to vibrate. You have the ability to control it to vibrate at its own frequency, but it's allowing women to like see, like, oh, this is a part of my vagina that maybe needs a little more care, maybe needs a little more energy. So you can really start to heal and enhance your pleasure by finding areas that maybe you didn't even know had resistance to pleasure. So really cool device. It's been amazing because it's research for pelvic pain and so many other things. But it'd be really fun for women to take something like this. They're playing with themselves, and all of a sudden, it's like you can practice. Like, okay, what would I say about how this feels? How does this feel? You can start actually practicing that on your own. And for men, one of my favorite things right now is the penis pump. So this penis pump that I'm gonna put, yes, amazing, amazing device. It's an amazing company. I'm gonna put links and coupon codes for this and for the other device in the show notes. And this penis pump, what's great, it comes in all sorts of sizes. I have two of them here. There's all other sizes with this, so you can get exact fit. Because that's one of the biggest problems with penis pumps is you don't get exact fit and they don't work as well and they can lead to bruising or other problems, but you get so many different sizes online. You can pick which size is best for you. They help you size it, all of that. And with their studies, they've done studies on this, and then they've found that men almost get like a full inch longer, sometimes even up to 3. And girth is a half an inch or more oftentimes in many men. So as like men, it's like so easy to be, using these and to be looking and like, wow, like think about like seeing the penis grow and like all the things you want to say to your partner about this, right? So it's another
Exercise for the penis.
it is. It's an exercise for the penis. You get more girth, you get more length, you get more ability to hold and maintain erection, so many more things. And then you can practice your flirting in your own head while you're doing it. So all of those coupon codes will be in the show notes. And now tell me, okay, because another thing that I think comes up sometimes is receiving a dirty text. And then sometimes what I've seen in people that I talk to is they receive this and then they just get almost like paralyzed with like, I don't know what to say, and when this has gone wrong, what I've seen is then people don't say anything, and then it can send that message back to that first person of I did something wrong, or I feel awkward, or like any of that. So, do you have any like recommendations on how to respond, how quickly to respond, any of those kind of things when people are getting a dirty text?
Yeah, and I think that you should always respond because even if you are so-called not in the mood, because that's what happens is people are like, well, they send me this and I'm not really in the mood, so I don't really know how to respond. And they don't want to assume that something's going to happen later. And that's where that confusion comes, is because people may not say to themselves, oh, well, I'm really horny, so let me respond this way. So they just freeze. Um, First of all, like we were saying about the memes and the emojis and things like that, you could respond back if you don't know what to say with a meme, search a meme. And if you don't want it to be as sexual, do something that might be more affectionate and more loving, like, oh my God, I love you so much, or something like that. Otherwise, if you think, you know what, I may not be in the mood now, but it's been, a little while and maybe we could plan a fun date. So write back and do something that might be a little more sexual. Or if you are feeling a little, naughty, write back what you want to do to the partner and pretend, you pretend you're in a book or pretend that it's somebody, reinvent yourself, pretend it's someone you don't know and that you're not going to get judged. Because if anything, that person, your partner that loves you, is going to write back or see that message and be like, oh my God, this person is so hot and amazing. You're not going to get rejection.
Yeah.
And that's what people fear.
Exactly, and I think your point around, like, just respond, like, there's a lot of different options you can respond, but it'll really help the relationship if you just do.
Don't respond, thanks.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, thank you for clarifying that as well. Or another one that I don't think is very good is "you too." Like,
Right, right.
it's like, things might be better than things, but it's like, that's, like, not really showing that you actually
Right.
care at all about it, that
Exactly.
you're
Bring
interested
the
in tone.
intimacy part in there.
Exactly. The intimacy, the love, the attraction, all those things.
Right.
What else do you feel like we have to say today on this topic that we have not yet?
Um, I think that people just need to not worry about the results because I think that a lot of people that may not be in the mood will be afraid to say something or afraid to speak or share dirty things or being playful or being flirty because they say if I say one thing my partner is going to take it up 10 notches. And that's why so many people will not respond. And I'm going to say so many people, I'm going to say generally women. Um, what I try to tell clients to do is to be able to talk with each other ahead of time or set expectations and tell them, I really want to get a little more playful. I really want to be a little more flirty, but I'm kind of afraid or hesitant to because I don't want it to be like every time I say something back that sex is expected. But I want to bring some more fun. And so have that conversation with your partner and say to them, you know, if we can do this and you understand that I'm practicing and working through things and trying to do it without those expectations, I'm happy to keep going. And then that can help build that anticipation and that might even get yourself horny. You don't know. But I think that that's important is to be able to have that conversation because so many people will not do it because they fear the expectation.
I think it's a really important point, and the other thing I would add to that is even, like, having in that initial conversation, like, how we want to care for each other if, like, somebody can't respond in that moment. Because like, sometimes you can get a push
True.
notification, you're in a meeting, and it's like, I can't pull up this sexy thing and, like, when I'm in the middle of this meeting.
Right.
And so, like, while I think it's generally good to, respond quickly if possible, we wanna make sure that if somebody is like, "Well, I'm in a 3-hour meeting and, like, I can't step out," like, the other person isn't in limbo, and so talking about how we're going to navigate that, so we're
Right.
making sure that, yes, that person is getting responded to, but they also understand that, hey, it's, like, oftentimes the middle of a workday, and, it's
Right.
like, this could be going on, and so to not be in that, like, anxiety type of state that can happen when we put ourselves out there in this vulnerable way.
Absolutely, and they could if they don't know what to say or if they're not necessarily in the mood, they could just be like, "Oh my god, that was really hot."
Right,
Something
right.
simple.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Well, beautiful. Well, I want to make sure that everybody knows about your free gift of how to get your PDF on 10 things they really want in bed but won't say out loud. Like, that's such an important thing around, like, so many times I think we have these desires and these fantasies and we don't talk to our partner. So I love this. I want to hear more about that. Also, remember everybody that we will have part 2, which we're getting ready to film here after this. We'll have how to access that in the links below the video. In part 2, we're gonna talk about sex with age, painful sex, how to deal with this. What does age really mean as far as sex and why sex can get better with age and not worse, contrary to a lot of people's thoughts. But tell us a little bit more about your free gift as well as how to work with you, and we'll have all of that in the show notes, your links for everybody.
Absolutely, thank you. The 10 things that they really want in bed but won't say out loud, it is not gender specific, so it could be for any type of a couple. And it's basically certain things that people may not share because of fear or, not being comfortable or that awkwardness. And it just helps you kind of get connected and saying, oh, okay, so now I understand my partner a little bit better. And you can go, the website is drstacyfriedman.com, and there's always that pop up that says if you want to be part of the newsletter and get the freebie, you can do that. And on there, I also have a shop link because I have an ebook that's specifically called Tease Me, Touch Me, and Talk to Me. And that is something that you can get. It's going to be all live this week. So that could help you with that dirty talk and that flirting and playfulness, and it gives you actionable steps to be able to take too. So some of the tips that we gave here, you could find in that ebook. It's really, really good.
Amazing. Oh, and congratulations on getting that out. That's
Thank
incredible.
you. Thank you.
Well, it's been a great joy to have you. I'm so excited for part 2, you guys, and make sure you check out all of this information in the links below. Please do subscribe so you can remember to get additional content that we have coming out just next week on these topics and so much more. I'll see you all real soon.
Thank you for listening to the Libido Lounge. Please don't keep me a secret. Please share this with your friends. You can find me on YouTube, on Instagram, as well as how to work with me at mylibidodoc.com.